What's up, everybody? Jason here, Metal Till Death. Part 2 on the Peavey Viper series. I don't know if there'll be a third one. I might be able to do everything in this video. We shall see. Today, in this video, we're going to do the speaker swap. Now, I already recorded a track with the Peavey Viper 75 stock speaker, the Blue Marvel. I'm pretty sure that's the speaker. I hope maybe it's the Viper speaker. We'll see when I take it out. Pretty sure that's the Blue Marvel. Anyway, so I'm using my AKG P120 condenser mic going into my audio interface into Reaper. Absolutely no processing. Let me make sure. Yep, nothing on the master track. There's no EQ, no gate, no nothing. I did set my settings. I decided to use the overdrive, the tube screener on here. I wanted to make sure that everything I used was on this amp, and that's it. So I made some settings to get the best sound I could for this amp, for the Blue Marvel to go in the Reaper, and I saved those settings. So it's digital. When I turn it back on, I can just click back on that. I am even going to keep the same input level on my audio interface. My Scarlett right back there. We're going to keep the same level on that. The only thing I'm not going to be able to keep 100% consistent on this is the microphone. I do need to move this amp out of here to swap the speaker, and I'm just going to have to kind of guess. But let me show you real quick, and I'm pretty sure I can get it right in the exact spot. Okay, guys, I'm trying to shine the flashlight so you can see the speaker. Now, if you can see, the microphone is right up against the mesh, just about touching it. It is almost kind of dead center of the angle, kind of at a 45 degree or whatnot. So as long as I use this flashlight deal, I'm pretty sure I can get this microphone back in the same spot. And even if it's not the same, I did move this mic a little bit side to side. It didn't really make that much difference on this Blue Marvel, so I think it'll be fine. But once we swap the speakers, I'll use this flashlight and we'll try to get this microphone in the exact same spot. Like I said in the last video, I was in this group on Facebook, and some people were like, you don't swap a speaker in a modeling amp. Why not? I already did back in Idaho, and it actually worked really good. I don't really see a problem with it. You are changing the sound with the speaker. I understand with these modeling amps, they purposely put like a full range speaker in there, a certain type of frequency speaker, so that you get kind of a close, they try to emulate the sounds of the real amps they have on here, like the 6505, the XXX. So if I put the speaker in, it will change the sound of those emulated amps. I don't care. Like, it's really not a big deal to me. The reason I am doing this is for recording. If you are just jamming live or jamming in your room, you don't really need to do this. I'm doing this to get a certain type of frequency for recording, so it fits in a mix. This is not just about like getting a better sound. It's about getting a better sound for a mix, not necessarily getting a better sound in the room. The sound in your room and what goes through the microphone on the Reaper are two completely different things. It does not sound the same. So the big question, what speaker did I get? After a week of watching videos, I went ahead. It doesn't exactly say it on the back. I got a Jensen Nighthawk. Ooh. 8 ohms, 75 watts. It will fit this perfectly. Very beautiful, brand new. You can actually kind of see in the glare that the cone is transparent. Pretty cool, pretty cool. I think a lot of guitar speakers are like that. I watched a whole bunch of videos, and I really liked the sound of this speaker. In my opinion, it gives a really nice old 90s scooped heavy metal sound, an old school sound from the 90s. Not too trebly, but like really scooped. So I think it's going to get a good sound on here. I don't really like that it doesn't say Nighthawk. I saw one or two speakers and videos where they did say Nighthawk, and everything I saw online, none of them say Nighthawk on the magnet anymore. But I got this one off of Amazon, so if anything's wrong, I can just ship it right back to Amazon. But there were two or three different types of Jensens on Amazon, and none of them say the actual model. So, but we'll see. Hopefully it's the actual Nighthawk, the one I wanted. So like I said, I already did a track on the Blue Marvel. Now all I got to do is swap speakers, turn it on, do a track on there, and see the comparison. All right, the Peavey Blue Marvel is out of the amp. And we've installed the Jensen Nighthawk. And the one thing, I had a slight this only took me about 10 minutes. There's only 4 bolts. But this connection port, you can see these wires are pretty straight, is a lot further back on the speaker than the Marvel. They have this whole thing sticking out a little further. This one is sunken in. I had to untwist these wires. There's some play. I don't think it's going to be a problem. I don't really like that. It's like, there's like no slack, but I think it'll be fine. All right, let's plug this back in, set up the mic, and see what it sounds like. Okay, we got everything set up. We're going to take a look, try to position the mic. It looks pretty much like it's in the same spot. Close enough, I'm going to say. Would you not say? All right, guys, you just heard back-to-back the Marvel and the new Jensen Nighthawk. You guys decide what you think best sounds better. Now, I will say I'm surprised. I don't think there was as huge of a difference between the Marvel and the Nighthawk as there was between the Marvel and the Emmons Governor that I did in Idaho. I think there was more of a drastic change between the Governor and the Marvel than this. However, I do love the sound of this Jensen. It's not a humongous drastic sound, but I do think the Jensen definitely has this cleaner crunch. The Marvel seems a little bit more muddy and fizzy. And the Jensen does have a little bit more highs than I was hoping. It still has almost as many highs as the Marvel, but it definitely has the scoop sound I like, and it definitely, like I said, it just feels like there's a cleaner crunch. It's not so fuzzy. I went back and forth and listened to it like 20 times. And overall, I think the Jensen sounds much better. And I think overall will make a better in the mix, but that remains to be seen. Is it worth $150? Because that's how much the Jensen Nighthawk was. I believe so, because even, you know me, always buying and selling amps. I buy another amp, now I got a Nighthawk I can throw in there, or maybe see how the Peavey Marvel. Now I got an extra speaker I can use for whatever I want. It doesn't have to stay in this amp. But for the time being, now you guys, what you heard again was just straight through the mic, raw, no processing. Now what I'm going to do is do a back-to-back track that you're going to hear right now. And I'm going to EQ the heck out of freaking everything. And it will not be the same, because the whole goal of this is to get the best sound possible. So I already did some tracks with the Marvel. I've already done, like in the last week, I have this song I'm making. It's part of the intro music that I'm now using. So now I'm going to hook up, now that I have the Jensen installed, I'm going to tweak as much as I possibly can to get that to sound as good as I can. And then we will do a back-to-back comparison and see which one sounds better. Because honestly, just like in my last video, the beginning of this video, the intro that you heard on that song, that is the Peavey Blue Marvel. It sounds great, but I want it to sound better. It's still a little too boxy for me. I wanted something a little bit cleaner. I think the Jensen is overall going to sound better. But again, now I got to spend like an hour or two just dialing all that in with the Jensen and see how good of a sound I can get. So I'm going to go do that. Boom, it's done. Here it is, back to back, a mix with, again, we're going to do the Marvel first, and then we will do the Jensen. You guys tell me which one you like. Okay, guys, those are the mixes. Like I said before, when I first swapped the speaker and did the sound test, I kept all the same settings. On those two mixes I just did, I did not keep the same settings. And that is the whole point when I swap speakers, is to get to the best sound I can get out of both speakers. So I'm not using the same settings. And my personal opinion, honestly, I actually like them both. I do favor the Jensen. I do overall pick the Jensen. I think the Jensen overall sounds better, but I still think the Marvel sounds great too. It's kind of personal preference. The Jensen definitely does have a scoopier sound, a little bit tighter and crunchier that I do like. The Marvel tends to sound a little bit fuzzier. I like them both, but I definitely favor the Jensen. I definitely like that sound. You guys tell me, let me know in the comments what you guys think. And I'm a little torn right now because I'm kind of actually thinking about maybe getting another amp, throw the Marvel back in here, put the Nighthawk and maybe another amp, see how that goes. But I definitely, myself, am pretty proud of this video. I like this. This is the most in-depth I've gone in switching a speaker. The last one I did in Idaho where I swapped the governor, didn't really go too much in depth on that. This one I wanted to make sure I do that. So again, you guys tell me what you think. I favor the Jensen. It's personal preference. But the song that you're hearing and the one in the intro is an actual song I will be working on and completing that. So just want to let you guys know that. But yeah. But that's it, guys. Thanks for watching Metal Till Death, and take care out there.